Hello and welcome to My Thriving Child Coffee Chat. My name is Maggie and I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, and I have my pup Millie with me. She's making regular appearances in these videos. So today, I guess I should start by saying that in these coffee chats, I break down an educational tip, trick, or activity that can help your child progress developmentally and thrive developmentally. And so I try to do this I do this in 10 minutes or less. And today I'm going to be talking about scissor skills, progression, benefits, some different types of scissors that you can use with your child, and some different things that you can work on cutting with your child. And I also have my previous video that talks about scissor skills out in nature, so that kind of goes over some fun ways to work on scissor skills outside, so you can also check out that video. But so scissor skills development and progression, it's important to go in the order of progression because the skills build on each other, and we want children to be successful and build confidence and have fun doing it. So I like to provide that progression so that you know kind of the ways to work towards, there goes Millie, work towards progressing them developmentally with their scissor skills, so that they're not frustrated and that you're not frustrated and that they can be successful. So that's why that is important. And I also wanted to note too that there are a lot of skills that happen fine motor wise, what we call like preparatory skills, before use of scissors, and I will create another video about that. But this is more focused on once they're using the scissors. So I just wanted to preface with that. And I'll go over some of the benefits first. So it prepares children for handwriting. So using that motion of opening and closing the hand works those small muscles in the hand, so those fine motor muscles, and helps them get stronger for a lot of different tasks in life, but handwriting is a main one, and during that age they're getting ready for handwriting. So that's a big reason to also work on using scissors. So another one is eye-hand coordination. So eye-hand coordination is being able to use the hands and eyes simultaneously, and that is used in a lot of things in life, and so it's a great skill to be working on at a young age. And again, they're doing it in a functional way, so that is good. And then bilateral skills. So using both hands together, one hand to hold the object or paper, the other hand to use the scissors. So again, a lot of tasks in life, you're using both hands together, and that is good practice for that. And then overall, just fine motor strength. So kind of what I talked about, you're building those muscles up for things that you're going to use that pincer grasp for, that same opening and closing and of the hand. And that can be things like fasteners when they start to use the zipper or the buttons, or snaps, or they're opening containers, or they're picking up small objects. All these things are what they're going to be doing in life, and so working on scissor skills also helps develop strength for that. And then improved precision of the pincer grasp pattern, and just that overall motion and those muscles that they're using to, again, use the scissors. They're having to be super precise, and so that motor coordination and precision piece is also worked on while you're working on scissor skills. So I just like to know all the other things that are going into scissor skills, and that it's, with most skills, you're not just helping them with that skill, you're helping them with so many other things, which is great to know. So the breakdown of how to introduce these to your child. So first, you're going to want them to take interest in the scissors. So that's step one. Once that has occurred, you can work on learning how to hold the scissors. So again, that's going to be, first, of course, with adult assistance, and then fading that physical assistance over time so that they can learn, where to put their fingers. So that can be tricky for a lot of kids, and so having that physical assistance at first is really nice. Once they've mastered that, they can work on opening and closing the scissors in a controlled fashion. So just that coordination of opening and closing the scissors is a step in and of itself. and you want them to be successful with that before they move to snipping paper. So, or just snipping in general. So that's being able to open and close in a controlled fashion and cut something in half. So a lot of times I like to use like a 1 inch or 1/2 inch piece of construction paper, like widthwise, so they can like snip it and it'll, they don't have to do multiple snips, right? So they snip it once and it becomes 2 pieces. So snipping is next. And after that, holding the paper with a helper hand and making consecutive cuts in a forward fashion. And then from there, they can work on cutting curved lines and shapes. And then from there, cutting angled lines and shapes. And you'll see a lot of guides out there that are super specific. So, you know, cut within 1/4 inch of an inch line, this many cuts. And it just, for me, I feel like that becomes like a lot to kind of focus on and be worried about. I think if you have that general progression of where you want to go when you're cutting and using the scissors, it can be really helpful. And again, for some people, having that super detailed guide can be more helpful for them, and that's great. But I kind of like to just know the guidelines of where we're going. You know, is it a straight line? Is it a curved line next? Is it an angled line next? And then just build from there. So some different scissors that you can use. You can use spring-loaded scissors, so this helps with that motor planning piece, so remembering the steps they have to execute in a motor pattern. So the spring-loaded scissors, they can close them, so that part they're doing on their own, and then the scissors pop back open automatically, so it takes out one of the steps when they're learning, so that can be really helpful to avoid frustration. Loop scissors are great. They don't have to put their fingers in the holes of the scissors, so if that's tricky for them, this is a way that they can work on cutting without having to worry about that. And then it can also just be for building that grasp and release pattern, so that can be helpful too. And then Play-Doh scissors, so those are obviously pretty straightforward. They're only used for Play-Doh because they can only really cut Play-Doh. They're plastic, and Play-Doh is a super fun way to work on scissor skills, so that can be a good one. And then of course, always using safety scissors with like a blunt tip is important because cutting is dangerous, and so, but we also want them to learn, so having that balance in the safety scissors, the blunt tip, can be super helpful with that. So again, some different things to practice cutting with. I mentioned I have a video about working on scissor skills in nature that you can check out. The other things are yarn, junk mail, like I said, those 1 inch or 1/2 inch strips of construction paper, Play-Doh, straws. Straws are super fun because they get that cause and effect in it. One of the sides of the straw like pops off in the other direction, and a lot of kids like that. And then foam. And then another thing I like to know is if they're having trouble figuring out where to place one hand and cut with the other, you can put like a sticker or draw, you know, a star with a marker, or put a stamp down, something like that, and they can know where their thumb goes and where they pinch the paper and then where they hold to cut. So that can just be a quick tip. Again, this is just like a brief overview to get you started, and you know, so you know how to progress those skills, what you can use, what types of scissors you can use, and I hope that you find this helpful. So on Wednesday, I will be providing a video about sensory exploration out in nature for your little one. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you for joining my Thriving Child Coffee Chat.